Welcome back to the arcade. Well, this was going to be a video about working on the Wells Gardner 4600 monitor. As in the last video, when I put LEDs in the joystick, I noticed I had a little jump in the monitor on the vertical. Every now and then it would, the picture would just jump a little bit. And I noted that was a capacitor that needs to be changed, so I ordered a capacitor for it, and also ordered a filter capacitor, because even though I've done a cap kit on this monitor, those are two capacitors that normally are not in the kit, and you might have been able to see that just then. It jumped. It's not doing it too bad, but I was going to go ahead and get it done, get it taken care of. But as I was out here getting ready to set up to do that, I noticed something else. Okay, Gorf is designed, if you have the sound on in a track mode, to sort of taunt a person to, you know, want to put coins in it. But I noticed it's excessively doing it. It's supposed to say something every now and then, but it's going crazy. And I got thinking, I said, that don't sound right, you know. So I decided to play a game. And check this thing out. So let me coin up a game here. And let me show you what I found out. Alright, at first glance it seems like it's playing fine. But guess what? I can't move my ship up. I can move it left and right, but it's all the way down. So that means my joystick, the down control, or the back, is stuck. So evidently I got something wrong with the joystick. And Gorf is designed that in the a track mode, if somebody was to come up to the game and grab the joystick, it would start talking, you know. So I'm pretty sure that I got a problem with that. So let's go ahead. Let me set you up closer to the screen here, and we'll put it in test mode, and we'll check out the controls for the joystick and see what that tells us. Okay, well, let me put it in test mode. Okay, now I went ahead and printed out the test display for Gorf out of the manual here. And what it is, each one of these boxes on here are related to either a switch or I'm not sure what JU2 and JU1 is. That might be a jumper, I guess. Okay. All right, well, what we're concerned with is the joystick. So that is this row right here. So that one right there is the trigger. That one is left. That one is right. That's correct. All right. Up. Correct. All right. Right now they're all working. But a little while ago I had it in game mode, and the game was working fine. I could control the joystick, and it was in a track mode, and all of a sudden Gorf just went crazy and started talking. So and I have put it in test mode before I got the camera out, and the down was stuck open. Well, actually it's stuck closed, because the block for down, which is next to the last one on the right here, that was blank. So when it's blank, that means that the switch is closed. So even though I don't have a problem right now, I guarantee you, let me go ahead, take it out of test mode. And it takes, I think, 20-25 seconds for it to cycle back and start the game up again. There it goes. So let me go ahead and coin up the game, and we'll find out by when the joystick, when the ship goes all the way down and I can't control it back up. Because right now it seems to be playing nice. Okay, right now it's working. I can go up and down, right and left. Okay, it just went down. I can't go up no more. So it's already been locked up. So if I go to test right now.
Bad move, space, added. Starting, space, added. Light, dust, space.
Okay. Now you can see that next to the last one on the right hand side is blank. It's not there. There's the left, there's the right, there's the up, no down, and there's the trigger. So we definitely got a joystick problem. Okay, well, this game, I've had it for 20 years, and believe it or not, I don't think I've ever had the control panel off except for when I first got the game. I may have taken it off to clean it, and I may not have. But for all intents and purposes, the control panel hasn't been off essentially since I bought the game, which, like I say, is 20 years ago. So I may have took it off when I did the cap kit, and that was probably about 15 years ago. So let's say 15 years, because if memory serves me right, to take the monitor out of here, you have to take the control panel off. Let me shed a little light on here. I think you have to take the control panel off, have to take these 3 screws out, take this metal bracket off, take the monitor, the bezel glass out so that you can get to the screws. And because of the way the monitor is mounted in here, you have to lay this game down, I believe, on its right side. The only other way you can do it, you would need at least 2 people. Somebody would have to physically hold the monitor in place while somebody took the screws out of it. And then the way it's in here, you run the risk of breaking the neck of the tube. So the safest way is to put it on its side. But looks like this video is going to turn into finding out what's wrong with the joystick. So let's get started. Okay, well, let's see. I believe it's a couple latches under here. Let's see if I can get my hand up in here. Yep, latch on that side. Latch on this side. At least I don't feel any spider webs in here. That's a plus. All right. Say it's been on here a while, and I'm hoping it's got a plug I can unplug here, and yes it does. These plugs are always hard to get loose. I don't want to scratch this thing up. This thing hadn't been apart in a month of Sundays. There we go. All right, let's get it over on the work table, and I'll show you what we got into. Okay, well, here's the joystick. Now, Gorf doesn't have a leaf switch joystick, and it doesn't have a micro switch joystick. It has an optical joystick. That's right, optical joystick. So what that means is it has a combination of 4 infrared transmitters and receivers. They're in one unit. There's 4 of them here. And, well, let me go ahead and take this cardboard off here. And we'll get in here and we'll check it out. It's also got a control board with a, I believe it's a voltage comparator IC. LM339. It's a quad comparator, so the one chip handles all 4 of the optos. So we could have a bad LM339, or we could have a bad opto, or we could have a cold solder joint. A lot of things it could be. So what we're going to do is we're going to check everything out. And see if we can't figure out what's going on. Always a possibility, I guess it could be a board problem, but I kind of doubt it. More than likely it's probably a problem right here with this board somewhere. And right now, it looks like it's, okay, it was just sitting on there. I got it propped up with this case right here, my logic probe case. It was just propped up under there. Okay, we have 2 plugs. This comes out of the joystick, so this one just goes up to the trigger. This for the trigger and the lights, because that's the only thing that's in the trigger. These are the wires that go up in a spring that go up into the joystick itself. So pretty sure there's nothing wrong with this, but we're going to check it for cold solder joints anyway, and we'll go ahead and unplug it. And this one here is the one that goes, let's see. Okay, this one here goes to the plug here, and also some of the wires bypass this plug and go over here to the start buttons. So we know all that's working. So the only problem we have is with these optos right here. And it also has one of these tantalum capacitors on here that's short out. But I don't think that's the problem, because if that capacitor was shorting out, that would probably short out to 5 volt, and that would cause everything on this board not to work. More than likely it's either one of these optos bad, because they are known to go bad, or this voltage comparator is bad, or bad solder joints. So let me go ahead and I'll unplug this. Alright, now I can get this out the way. We don't need this. Because I think any of our problems is going to be on this board right here. So let me get my magnifier on. And I'll look this board over real good and I'll get back. Okay, well, I got some good news. I've looked the board over real good, and it has plenty of cold solder joints. So I'm pretty confident that that's the problem. Have cold solder joints not only on the header pins here, but also on these optos. The optos have 4 connections on each one. So you basically, each one of these is 2 diodes. One is a transmitter and one is a receiver. And the way that they work like think of them as a leaf switch, but they're optical. They work with light. In other words, the transmitter transmits infrared light, and the other one can pick up that light signal. And when you put, the controller has a little piece of metal, and when you move the joystick, it slides in between these two. And when that piece of metal slides in between, it blocks the light from the transmitter so that the receiver can't see that light, the infrared light. So basically it's working just like a switch. So that's how it works. A lot of the newer pinball machines use optos like this for the flippers and various other, use them in place of a physical switch, like a leaf switch or a micro switch. But yeah, I understand that these are kind of hard to find, but I think you can still find them if the opto goes bad. But you definitely, if it goes bad, you have to replace it with one that's physically fairly close, so it'll work on the board. And this is the comparator chip right here, the quad comparator, which is a voltage comparator, and that controls the circuitry for all 4 of the optos. So anyway, I looked on the chart on the schematic here, and this is the schematic for the control grip PC assembly. And these are your 4 optos, and this is U1. There's 4 of them, but it's actually 1 chip. This 1 chip right here is the LM339. So if you look right here, I was having problem with the down. So the down goes to this one right here, which is CR1. And CR1 is this one right here. And sure enough, when I looked on here, probably ain't going to be able to see it in the camera. You might be able to, but it definitely has a cold solder joint. You can see a crack around it, but I don't know if you can pick it up in the camera. Also, on these connectors right here, same thing. Not all of them, but a whole lot of them have cold solder joints. If you look around the edge of the pin, you might be able to see it in the camera. I don't know. But you can usually see a ring around the pin where the solder is fractured around the pin. So if I get the angle just right in the light, you might be able to see them. So anyway, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and take my desoldering tool here, and I'm going to pull some of the solder off and just add some new solder. So I'm going to do all these connectors. Yeah. That one there, that one, That one might be. This one right here. And this one right here. Yes, it's multiple joints on here. So, yeah, let me go ahead and take these off. I'm going to take all but the middle one and leave one on each one, so it'll hold itself in place, and I'll come back and get that last one. All right, I'm gonna do these in sections so I don't get them mixed up here. I do these big header pins first. All right. Now I'll get the one that I didn't get in the middle. All right, I'm going to do the same thing to the optos. I'm going to do 3 of the 4. Well, I'll do opposites. That way I'll have 1 to each one. I just feel it's a lot better to go ahead and suck this old solder off of these and just completely add new solder to them. Rather than just piling on the old solder, new solder on top of the old. All right. Now I get the other two. Alright, check these out real good. Those look good. Now we'll do the other pair. Look like somebody's already been here and replaced this one. Alright. Get the other side. Alright, take a look at it here. Alright, I don't like the looks of this one right here. Okay, much better. Alright, well, that's all for the optos Let me see about this other plug here. That plug looks okay, but let me check these other connections here. Yeah, this one right here on this plug goes to the joystick lights. That one there looks suspicious, so I'm going to go ahead and hit these two. These I think I'm just going to touch up. All right. Okay. They all look good now. Now, let me see if I can find my, yeah, here it is. My alcohol and my brush. Clean the flux off. Okay. Let that dry, and then we'll come back and put the joystick back together. Okay, one more thing while I'm at it. The optos here can get dirty. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a Q-tip and I'm going to go ahead and wet it down with some alcohol. And the Q-tip don't want to fit in there. It's a fat Q-tip. Let me see if I can cut it down. Okay, that'll work. Just run the Q-tip through it. And it just came apart. Alright, I'm going to find something different to do that with. Okay, since the Q-tip was too fat, I just took and rolled up a paper towel. I'll wet the paper towel down. I'll just stick it in between them. And just pull it back and forth in between. And I'll take the dry end of the towel. All right. Seems like it got a little bit of some type of blue stuff. All right, well, maybe something was coating it. Okay, now we can get the control panel back up here and put it back together. All right, let's go ahead and put this back in. Now, these pins look a little dirty here, so on this particular plug, but I'm just going to spray a little deoxit on it. All right, that ought to be good. These here look okay. All right. Let me get my screws here. And what did I do with that screwdriver? Here it is. All right. Okay, I believe that went on there. The small plug went down here. So the optos ride here's one of the little flaps that go in between, and here's the other one, the little metal tabs. So yeah, that one goes in between this one goes in between this one. So that's correct. All right. Okay. The board, it has a little lip on the standoff here. So you got to make sure you get the board in that little lip, and if you don't, you could crack the board. So I know I got this one in. I got to make sure I get that other side in. That's because it's a precision alignment. Because those metal blades can't be dragging on the optos. And of course you don't want to tighten anything tight till you get them all started, but you want to make sure you got it in that lip. What you can do is you can look right here and make sure that the circuit board is seated in that lip right there, and it is. So we're good to go on that. Go ahead and snug them down. Now these do have a star lock washer under them, but they're screwing into the cardboard here, so you don't want to over tighten them, but you want them to lock down pretty good because you don't want them backing out. Okay. That should do it. Looks good, feels good. Hopefully that's going to fix the problem. So let's go ahead and put it back in and plug it in, hook it up, and see if it fixes that ailment. Well, it's the next day. I was getting ready to put the control panel back on, and when I looked in here, I seen something I didn't like the looks of. And like I say, this is probably one of the few times I've had the control panel off since I've had the game. I've noticed it doesn't have the correct light bulbs in here. And I looked, and I don't believe this. Let me take this out here. This is a standard household light bulb. And look at that. It's a 60 watt, 130 volt light bulb. 60 watt. The light bulbs in this thing is supposed to be 15 watt. So 60 watt, it's a wonder it hadn't got hot enough to melt the plastic here. But luckily there's no damage here. So it must didn't get hot enough. But then again, well, the most I've ever left this game on, twice a year I used to have a party, once for the 4th of July and Christmas Eve. So on those days, twice a year, the game would probably stay on like 12 hours straight. But it's obviously no damage. But I can't have this. My Pac-Man, somebody had put bulbs like this in my Pac-Man, and my Pac-Man marquee is actually melted a little bit. But I don't know what size bulbs they originally had in it. They may have had a 100 watt bulb in it, but 60 watt, that's still too much for these sockets, and the original bulbs are supposed to be, like I say, 15 watt bulbs. So today I went to Home Depot because Lowe's didn't have any. Well, this is what's supposed to be in it right here. It's supposed to be a 15 watt tube type bulb. Bulb like you see in, gosh, curio cabinets, any lighting displays, you know, like hidden up under shelves, and even aquarium lights. I don't know if this would be considered an aquarium bulb, but aquariums use this elongated bulb like this. So this is what's supposed to be in there. So it's supposed to be a 15 watt clear bulb. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put these back in it. And I got another one here. I like to put things back original if I can, if it's possible. And certainly 60 watts is just overdoing it when it's supposed to be 15, so. Okay. Now I feel better about that. Okay, well, here's what the correct bulbs look like. So hopefully that'll be an improvement. And even though it doesn't appear to have damaged this plexi right here, I still feel a whole lot better about it. So, okay, let's go ahead and put that control panel back on. Okay, when I was taking the panel off, I didn't put a camera underneath here to show the latches, but these are the two latches, one on either side, that hold the control panel down. So let's go ahead and put the control panel in. It does have these locating pins. It's got one on each side, and they go into these little holes in this little bracket, one on each side. So that's locating pins. So when you put it down in there, the pins go in the holes, and then the latch latches it down, and that keeps it from being able to people to sliding the thing off. So okay, well, first let me set this back down in here. Again, trying not to scratch it up. And let's go ahead and plug this back in. It only goes one way, so I'm trying to match up the shape of the plug. Okay. All right. Now let me go into here and latch these latches back. Okay, that's that one. Okay. All latched back up. So all we got to do now is fire it up, and we can either put it in test, or we can go ahead and straight into a game. So let me reset the camera up, and we'll fire the game up and see what happens. Okay, well, I got the game in test mode, and the next to the last line is for the joystick. That's the trigger. That's right, left, up, back. So it's all working. Okay, now I'll take the game out of test. And let's see, let me back it up, the camera just a little bit, and we'll go ahead and coin up and play a game and see what happens. Okay, let's go ahead and coin up a game.
Okay, player, but please. I am not working out
to be working so far.
Scorpion robots. Attack, attack.
Oops, ran into that one.
Water enemy ship destroyed. I am a Gorfian consciousness. You will need a Gorfian boom space product. Galactic Defender, you are space product. Like a dusk space product. I am a Gorfian Empire.
I'm out of practice. Okay, well, it looks like we got it fixed. So now the joystick control is fixed. Now maybe in the next video we can go back and fix that little tick in the monitor, the little jump. Like I say, it's not bad, but I want to go ahead, I know what it is, and I want to go ahead and get that fixed. So, oh, forgot to show you the light bulbs. Those bulbs aren't very bright. The camera might pick them up even brighter than they look like in person, but let me cut the lights off. And yeah, they're not very bright at all. Don't know if I like that. So maybe I'll have to look around and see if I can find a 15-watt bulb that has a higher lumens rating. It'd be a little bit brighter. But since the 60-watt bulbs didn't melt it after all these years, maybe I could go a little higher. Maybe I could try a 25-watt. I don't know. Jury's still out on that. If you like this kind of video, go ahead and subscribe to my channel, and when I release the next one, you'll be notified. And appreciate you hanging out with me and repairing a few of these old classic games. So till next time, this has just been another arcade fix. Have you had your arcade fix today?